Hi, everybody. I am Stephanie at MedSpa Distributors, and welcome to my webinars, the Collab Lab here. I am joined today by Bela and Cherie at Dermastart, and
Hello.
also joined by Shawna at Hale Hush.
Hi.
And of course, there's Pam there, the president of MedSpa Distributors, and we're here today to talk about when summer goes wrong. All those skin woes that we all know too well, not only for ourselves, but for our clients as well. So we're just going to jump right on into it. These sunglasses, everything's red. I've got to get these off, but all right. So when it comes to summer skin problems, the first thing we all think of is, of course, sunburns. So no matter what we do to try to avoid them, they're going to happen. Unfortunately, I'm one of those people. I could literally dip myself in SPF 50 and I can try, but I'm going to be red. I'm going to be burnt. So without any further ado, let's say you did get that sunburn. Let's go ahead and start with Dermastart. What do you think is a great way to calm everything down? What's your first step? What's your first step for a sunburn?
For a sunburn, the first step that I would say would be our antimicrobial skin mist. Oh, I don't know if you guys can see that. Maybe it's blending in.
More in front of you.
Yeah. Oh. Nope, he's blending in with the background. You know what? A for effort, right? But I would say our antimicrobial skin mist, just because this is really going to help to soothe the skin, and that hypochlorous acid is so gentle on the skin, yet so effective. So it's going to help with any irritation. It's going to help with that redness that you see and help to release any heat from the skin. That would definitely be like my number one choice.
Okay. Yep, there you go, Pam. Yeah, if we put them more like in front of us, they show like right here. Yeah. That one, she's not kidding on that one. I actually keep that one in my pool bag for a lot of reasons. I use it as a quick hand sanitizer at the pool too, but it's just a nice cooling mist, especially for sunburns. I love that one. Yep.
There you go. I use my head as a
Right in front of her face, but yes, there you go. And then what I would recommend once you, get out of the shower, your skin's going to start going through the redness and the erythema. I would absolutely recommend our arnica gel. The arnica gel is going to start calming and removing some of that heat. And if you need to, even accelerate that in the shower, you could use our cooling mask. Our cooling mask has, a lot of plant steroids that are going to help quickly aid the skin, along with my favorite right now is the Cica, the Centella asiatica is fantastic for after sun care. Mm-hmm. So your immediate, as you're walking off the beach, it would be your powder, or I'm sorry, your antimicrobial. That's usually my step. So I'm ahead of the game. So I have a little childhood secret there. I'll fill you in on it in a few minutes. But yes, and then after the shower is like definitely my arnica gels are go to.
Also like keeping it in the fridge too for that extra cooling effect. I feel like it feels so good. Or using like an ice roller with it really helps too.
And there's a little bit of copper in there, and the copper's definitely known for wound healing. It's going to start with the oxygen proliferation, and it's going to help the cells aid a little bit better and faster. So they work hand in hand together, but it's
I think those are definitely the top two picks.
Awesome. What do you think, Shawna? What's Hale Hush got that comes to the rescue for sunburns?
Well, our top two picks would obviously be the dynamic duo, because we know aloe always calms the skin, it feels good on the skin. So that's the Hush Hydrate Gel Mask Base is aloe. That one I would definitely use, and of course mix with the Relief Bio Powder. That would calm and soothe any irritation immediately. But like Cherie said, you got to wait a minute, make sure that skin gets calmed down a little bit. And then fabulously, I have used Berry Boost Mask on a sunburn that really helped with hydration. So you got to think to hydrate the skin back up after it's damaged. So Berry Boost Mask out of nowhere has become one of my favorites. It's our new mask full of antioxidants, anti-inflammatories, and helps build the barrier. So I do love that one. And like Cherie said too, you need a nice and calm, cool breeze. So I always choose our Fresh Breeze to hydrate the skin. I do like it in certain circumstances better than our Miss Me Spritz. So in this case for sunburn, definitely Fresh Breeze loaded with all those antioxidants to build and hydrate that skin back to a healthier place. Those would be my
Perfect. I want to chime in on top of both of those suggestions. While we're sticking mostly to Dermastart and Hale Hush products, there may be one or two categories where I would just be remiss if I didn't mention something to you guys on this topic. One of my favorites is the Photozyme Youth Recovery, specifically for sun damage and sunburns. I keep it in my medicine cabinet almost like a go-to. For this purpose. What it does is it has an enzyme in there that's a DNA repair enzyme that helps the body speed its repair process from UV damage, which is what a sunburn is. So when I get those really bad, I know this is going to be a painful sunburn. Specifically, the last time I used it was on a cruise. I can't go on a cruise at all. SPF 70 is not enough. Like I have to wear top to bottom. But I did get burnt there, and putting that on speeds my recovery time. Does it make the sunburn go away? No, but it calms down that redness, and I've been able to, if I can get it on there fast enough, I haven't had a peeling sunburn in 3 or 4 years. So I can at least help curb some of that damage. I can't stop it, but I can at least slow it down. So I wanted to at least mention the Photozyme specifically for that purpose. But the rest is Dermastart and Hale Hush all the way. But what I would do is use both. I would spritz with the mist, try to put the hydrate gel on for some hydration, and then come back a little later with the Photozyme 1, 2, 3. I would do all of it. And that's one of the things where we're going to be talking about in today's webinar is using things a little off label, in a little bit different way, some stuff that you might already have and we're already using in your skincare routine, but can be used in case of emergency in a pinch too. That's why a lot of these you're going to see us mention are part of our daily routines anyway, but like that Photozyme, I keep that in case of emergency. Let's go. Pam, you want to pop in on sunburns? What's your favorites for sunburns there?
Well, as you can see, I don't get out much in the sun like I used to. But back in the day, I know that a mask from Dermastart too is super great. And Sherry might want a dewy glow mask.
This one?
Yes.
Is it the sheet mask?
Yes. Yes.
The dewy, yes.
I don't have the dewy glow in hand right now, but I do have, let me see if I can cover my face. Maybe Bella's face. This is her go-to. This would be a great too after the shower, and if you just need that, extra hydration and peptides just to continue, because I know once the sun goes down, everything's going to really start speeding up on the skin. So it helps to remove a lot of that heat, and it's going to give you hydration. But I know you usually.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. I'm like a maniac. Like I literally ask her for them all the time. I love it just because it's so hydrating, but I don't feel like it's heavy on my skin, and I feel like it nourishes it and gives me the hydration that I'm looking for without feeling like a slip and slide. You know what I mean? And it also helps with that heat, like you were saying, which is really good, especially with an ice roller. Oh my God, it feels like heaven on your face.
It really does. It really does. In fact, I've used that same bad sunburn on the cruise. I used that on my back, and it left the shape of the face, like where the eyes are. You could literally see the change in color on the redness down. I had like a smiley face on my back.
That's so funny.
Sherry had given me one of those masks one time we were in Las Vegas, and I burnt my chest. Like this, you could see the sunscreen circle of what I missed. And I did try to put it all over, and I did have little holes, but it's immediate to take the redness down.
Yeah. So it's really nice to know that it's working, and to see, because the first thing I do when I get a sunburn is panic, because it does go bright red. So to see that instant reduction in redness just makes me feel better that I've let myself get burnt again.
Yep.
Yeah, because
you have a little secret. She's got a little secret of hers.
So what I do is I kind of while it's still in the container, I kind of squish it a little bit so the serum goes to the bottom, and then I take the serum and I put it in a container, and it's enough for me to use for 2 weeks afterwards. So I use it every day as a daily serum.
There you go. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
What are get my money's worth? Gotta get the most bang for your buck.
Money's worth is free.
Well, no.
Sherry, are those still called the Dewy Glow masks? What are those currently called?
I still have the Dewy Glow. We're waiting for our shipment to come in, but these are part of the Clear Choice one is part of our dermaplaning kit. And so we have these, it's actually our private label stock that we just put the Clear Choice label on, but they will be finalized here soon in the next few weeks.
Okay, so hang in there, guys. We are.
Yeah, but you can get them. We have them. They're just right now. They have a little label on them that they're called barrier post-op sheet mask, And yeah, just give us a shout. I'll send you one if you want to try it. You know, they're great.
Okay, cool. Let's move on to the next topic here. Another one that we all struggle with is ingrown hairs. Everybody wants to be nice and smooth by the pool, but it's a struggle. The struggle is real. Let's start with Hale Hush. What do we got going on in that department to help with those not so friendly hairs down there?
Well, let's just say I'm the worst person about those because if I don't take care of them, I'll pick until they die. You know what I mean? Cause a lot of damage. I see a lot of clients do it too. I don't feel I'm the only one, but you just feel as an epic fail as an esthetician when you're the picker, right? But for ingrown hairs for Hale Hush, I always use our Clear Future toner, and I use that daily to try to keep the ingrowns away. So we can use those after intimate treatments or anything that you may do, sugar, wax, whatever you choose. I do use Clear Future on my clients and have them use it at home. It has salicylic acid in it, so it just keeps the skin nice and clean and detoxified. If you're doing any sort of treatments, then I do love to use our Bedazzle mask, or no, it's not a mask, but our exfoliant. It's 5% lactic, 10% mandelic, and that really helps. If you're doing those intimate treatments, I know Sherry's got a killer that you can use. But we started out with our Bedazzle, and it just brings those ingrowns to the top so you can extract. If you're doing those kind of treatments, can't use that at home. But at home, I do suggest the charcoal clarifying mask if you're sending it home with the client. So that's just a little bit different. The charcoal mask is full of the AHAs that help detoxify, clarify, and bring those ingrowns to the top. So we can get them out and removed in our next service, or yeah, please have estheticians do that. And try not to pick yourself.
Have to take you to PA. Pickers Anonymous.
And remember, it's not just private areas. A lot of people get ingrowns on their bums, you know, from swimsuits and being wet, and they're everywhere. Underarms. I mean, that's all over the body. So that applies to everywhere.
Mm-hmm. That's true. For us, I would definitely say our V drops. This is a really great product because it's a multi-acid solution, but it also has that Japanese green tea in there and sodium hyaluronate. So it's extremely hydrating, because we know when we're targeting those ingrown hairs, right? When you exfoliate, you have to hydrate too. It has to be a balance in the skin. So this is really great for daily use because it's not going to dry out your skin and make you raw, red, or itchy. But for professional treatments, definitely intimate brightening. Everybody who's ever talked to me knows that is like my favorite thing to talk about. I can go on and on for hours and hours. But I can sleep. I can do it with my eyes closed. Like, listen, I'm telling you. But I think it's such a great treatment because it not only helps with that hyperfriction, but it helps with those ingrowns. It's going to brighten. You can do it in the treatment room, and then there's that home care that goes with it too. So it's kind of like a dual part system. But I definitely think those products really do make a difference, especially in the summer heat, right? We want to make sure that we are exfoliating properly. So these are really good start, like a baseline to get that started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, let's go a little deeper into those home care products in that intimate line. Let's talk about Opal Cheeks. Let's talk about the prickly milk serum, all of those that can be part of the shaving routine, part of the lifestyle, that kind of help prevent those ingrown hairs to begin with, but also just kind of make the routine a little more fun too. So maybe hint on a couple of those little, just fun to have in the repertoire.
Yeah, so Opal Cheeks definitely would be great, like you mentioned. So it's a scrub and a mask. So again, dual purpose. Again, very adaptable to what your lifestyle is. What I love about that is those crushed pearls in there. It's such a gentle exfoliant, but it's not going to be heavy on the skin. You're not going to feel raw, red, itchy, anything like that. You can also leave it on as a mask too. So if you want to let those ingredients sit for a little bit longer so you get the most out of them, and then topping it with that prickly milk afterwards, oh my gosh, you're going to have like baby smooth skin. So you look like a dolphin going to the beach, right? So the prickly milk is really great because it softens the skin and it really hydrates. But again, not greasy, because we know in Florida, we do not want to be greasy at all, right? It's so hot and humid here. I know Vegas and all of that, maybe they would prefer that. But for us here, we're like, okay, I need hydration, but without feeling like a slip and slide, okay? But definitely those two products are really great at helping with, and then incorporating the V drops in there too in your nighttime routine to help with that exfoliation. It's almost like an intimate trio.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this is gonna sound like such an oxymoron, but what I like about Hale Hush is the fact that I'm already using it and I can use it in a pinch. But I really like the intimate care home products because they are so specific, and it feels like such a treat to have those. So I really like both for different reasons. All right, so huh?
You said we can have it all.
Exactly.
I've heard of
Cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Right.
Bella, the dolphin was funny. I heard of slippery seals, but not dolphins. That's what.
Listen, it's an original over here.
Are they silky? I don't know.
I don't know. They look shiny and smooth, so it makes sense to me.
They usually call it after laser.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, also, to get that appearance, we have to get rid of all that redness and the histamine responses and all that. So both products can do that to where you get that dolphin color. They're not red. So
now anytime anyone thinks of dolphins, they're going to think of us.
That's right.
Whatever marketing works, whatever.
You got to do what you got to do, okay?
Right. And if there's anything this group has, it is inside jokes. So welcome aboard. And next time, dolphin will be funny forever. If you're here.
Wait till I see you, Bella, this week.
Glad I could be of service, everyone.
All right, so we've spent quite a bit of time at the pool with our sunburns and our ingrown hairs, but now we've been hiking and we've got mosquitoes, we've got ants, we've got spiders, you name it. What do you think, Sherry? What should we do in a pinch there with some bug bites?
Oh gosh. Well, we have our
I'm a victim of this. So yes, I'll let Bella start, but I am truly a victim to everything that flies and bites and stings.
No, literally everything's
I don't know why, but that's it.
You just have really sweet blood. That's all it is. But here we have our buff spray. So this is really good at detoxifying the skin. It's really good at being an antiseptic. So prepping as well. Really good for getting rid of any of that itchiness that you feel, that redness, erythema. I like this too because I noticed with it, it's very cooling on the skin. And we know with bug bites and stuff, like they're so itchy and like hot usually because you're picking at them so much. So this is really great for calming that inflammation in the skin. And like, it's a giant bottle. So you get like a lot for your money's worth too, you know, but I'll let you tell your story.
Well, I have several on this one. So my latest is the jellyfish sting. So I was at New Smyrna and there was several people out there that were not from this area, and they were convinced that they don't sting. So of course, I don't know why, but I was like, not really scooting my feet around, and boom, it hit me. I was like in an entire cluster of jellyfish, and my foot swelled up, and you're kind of limited on the beach. And of course, urinating is not going to be the one thing that I'm going to do, even though I know that does work. So the buff spray is my immediate, it was my go-to. It actually helped to remove the heat. The color is actually blue, and it's from Egyptian chamomile, the azulene and the witch hazel together. But I do like to use this on a side item. Witch hazel is fantastic for leg restlessness. So you can actually spray it on your legs as an antiseptic after shaving, waxing, or what have you. But it also helps with the restless leg syndrome too. So it's kind of like an old-fashioned sort of therapy, but just to help to remove that poison from the sting. And I had the same thing happen. I grabbed a back of a door handle, a door that we never really use here. And a whole bunch of wasps stung my hand, and immediately it started swelling. And for about an hour, I had my hand just soaked in a solo cup of spray. And by the time I was at my next, where lunch, it was gone. So it was something that's kind of like my go-to just whenever. Helps with no-see-ums. No-see-ums are a little bit of a challenge. That in Jacksonville, Stephanie, that's like one of those that you just can't get away with. But no-see-ums, like they last like 3 months. So it's like, just having something that's also going to be beneficial to the skin, our buff spray.
Yeah, for sure.
I've used it on pets too. So that's another thing. So it's been okay. It's okay for the pets as well.
Hey, Sherry, can you tell us the name of that again? People are asking that they missed what the name of it is.
It's called Buff Spray, and it's in our V collection. I don't know if you could see it. Maybe
there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go, Bella. Don't move. There you go.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's a large enough bottle where you can just transfer it in little travel bottles, so that way you can throw it in your beach bag or what have you. I have a few bottles around everywhere, so But yeah, and it has a nice, like, clean smell. It's all natural, the color, the fragrance, everything. It's all, you know, the plant based.
Mhm.
And I
What
think
about
it
you,
is on
Shawna?
our website, distributors.
Okay.
What did you say?
Shawna?
I said it is on our website at MedSpa Distributors too. Bug spray.
Yep.
For bug bites in general, well, you guys know where I am. I'm here in the Pacific Northwest. So there's bug bites. We don't have jellyfish. Well, we could. More,
Probably do.
more
Yeah.
rashes from ferns and other things here in the Olympic National Park. But the bug bites, it has to be a go-to thing. Remember, when you're at the beach or usually at the lake here, you usually have a bucket of ice, right? Well, let's not forget the first step. Let's grab some ice and try to get the inflammation down. But for me, the go-to is obviously Relief Bio Powder. You can put it directly on. However, it really helps if you make it into a paste and put it on as a paste, especially for bug bites. Stays longer, penetrates deeper, takes down the inflammation, the redness, and the sting. Remember, it has ingredients in it that help with itching. So it immediately takes out the itch. So that's I have that. That's a little tiny bottle. I have that almost every bag I own. Beach bag, purse, I don't know, travel bag.
Shawna, that product has calamine in it, calamine powder. So I can see that as, I can see that as a huge benefit, because
It's
the calamine, so
immediate.
make that into a paste, it would really absorb the toxicity that the bugs. So yeah, that would be a great.
Even I know we're not talking about this here, but you know, you get floaties at the pool, those rings. And so my little nephew here, he's very delicate like Stephanie. And even if he rubs up against that, sometimes too much, he'll get little burns from the plastic. And that's really, like, that's why I really do carry it all the time, is for him, because he'll scratch a leg on a bush. I mean, he's kind of wild. He's only 11. So I do have Relief Bio Powder all the time. Sometimes I have time to put it into a paste. There's one emergency that I did get a cube of ice, and I was putting the ice on it and shaking the relief powder at the same time, and it made its own paste to stay on the skin. That was, you know, an emergency situation, not very sanitary, but worked wonderful. So yeah, I do keep that Bio Relief powder with me at all times, because it gets wild up here. You never know what's gonna bite you, sting you, scratch you. So
I wonder, could we 1-2 that one? Do you think you could spray it and do the powder?
I was gonna say that, but I don't know if Sherry would like that, but I would 1-2 it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Actually, I was thinking even combining them, using the, instead of water, making the paste with the buff spray. So you get kind of a tag team for both. It's really, that would really help. Yeah.
Those, like Sherry said, those ingredients coincide with each other's. There's no way.
Yeah. That's what this webinar is about, is this with that, collab lab, use this with this. You've already got both of them, put it together for the best results. Yes, 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 yes. All right.
On another side note, Soothing Healing Lotion, which has some overlapping ingredients like the buff spray, is great for wetsuit rash. I have a couple of people that are, you know, in the water consistently, and they use this for any rashes that they're going to have, like on the back of their neck from the zipper, things like that. And the Soothing Healing Lotion definitely helps to aid that too. And I'm not sure, you know, Stephanie, do you use the Soothing Healing Lotion?
It used to be a fan favorite. I used it for a very long time. It's been out of my repertoire, but us talking about it now, and I remember, yes, it's nice and thick, and it almost leaves like a layer, but it's not thick. Like, you almost have this layer of protection that feels invisible. It's really nice, very thick, but doesn't feel thick. Yeah,
like a whipped texture.
Yeah, it's more like a balm. I don't know.
Put it over my face. There you go.
You could see it. It's like a very thick, balmy type product. It's great for winter hands. So
it's really good for psoriasis too, because I have full body psoriasis, and this is one of the few products I can use where it just doesn't irritate it, and it's like hydrating enough, because like with my psoriasis, it gets so dry and itchy, and this really helps get rid of that itch and help to hydrate it.
Cool.
We might be getting close to it, to the topic. I think we are slightly, but a lot of people have also chubby thighs. So what do they call it? Chub rub.
Oh,
That's really good for that too. Like I've used both our Hush Hydrate Gel and that. I do think it's more balmy, but it's more occlusive. So then it helps with the friction.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah. Soothing healing lotion, very similar properties, but I like it specifically for these purposes because it's a little thicker and gives us more of that glide that we need. Yeah. Big fan of gliding in that area, especially at theme parks. I went to Disney in July one time. Don't do that.
Oh gosh, that's the worst time to go.
Kudos to you. I give you a crown for that.
0 out of 10. Do not recommend.
0 out of 10. Stephanie, you're so funny.
All right, another problem I have, because I'm clumsy, but I like to have fun, is I bruise a lot in the summertime. I'll be out tubing, skating, biking. So I do, in fact, I'm sporting 2 right now. I'm just one of those people that bruises really easily. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about how to heal them quickly, get rid of that discoloration. Let's start with, how about you, Shawna? Let's start with Hale Hush. What's Hale Hush got in the bruise department?
Oh, well, I bruise all the time too, just constantly. And especially out here, who knows what I hit myself on anymore, right? Except we don't hit any dolphins, Bella, so it's usually trees.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Whales out here, but no, bruising is a bit easier for me. I always like to do a massage and move the blood under the skin. So I always use our Remedy Rehab oil. It has lots of anti-inflammatory properties in it. A lot of those oils that help with inflammation. So once you can get the inflammation down and the blood circulating, then you can heal more quickly. So that's would be my go-to. Absolutely. I mean, there's other things you can use. Soothe Essence Serum would help hydrate the skin back up after the damage has been created. But I think the first thing you have to do is get the inflammation down. So that's why I would go with Remedy Rehab. And plus, we're usually all dry up here and need the hydration. So it's a 2-for-1.
Cool. What about Dermastart approach to bruises?
For us, I would definitely, or for me at least, I would definitely say Advanced K, because that vitamin K is really going to help with that circulation in the skin. And then it also has that swelling in there. So it's going to be really hydrating as well. Funny enough, I actually did bruise my stomach last week. How? I have no clue. I looked down, I was like, how did that even happen? And I used Advanced K on it and it went away within 2 days. So it's really good for that circulation. Another one that I would really recommend would actually be Copper Tide Mist. I feel like that's really underrated for bruising, especially because it helps to thicken tissue as well. So it's really wound healing. So combining those 2 together just really accelerates that wound healing and really helps with that circulation in the skin.
Cool. And Arnica, we got the Arnica gel too.
Yeah, Arnica too. Arnica would be really great too, especially too with helping with the heat and that swelling as well. Again, I like to keep it in the fridge personally because I like it cold, but tomato.
I
also want to mention the bio. Go ahead,
I'm sorry. It's also for the nuisance bleeding. You know that a lot of ones that are on blood thinners are on. So all these that you talked about for bruising, think of your clients that have that, and that might be a good suggestion for them to try that too.
Yep. So, because what is a bruise? It's just coagulated blood. What are those little lines? It's just broken blood vessels. So vitamin K is going to help with that reabsorption of blood. Arnica is going to help with that as well. Personally, I also use the Bio Relief powder here because it does have a little bit of a yellow undertone to it. So I brush it on as a concealer while they're healing as well. So there are some ingredients there that are going to help with the bruising, but I use that more for the visual effects while I use some of my other topicals for the absorption of the blood. So this is a common problem for me. I do be clumsy. So yeah. All right.
Pam, on a side note, the Prepara that you're talking about on the arms, the thinning, the crinkle body serum works fantastic for that.
Well, that'd be good too. Yes, yes. See, and the thing is a lot of times Sherry's always is inventing, I'll call it inventing something new. So, it's like, I like this, but now she's got this.
Yeah.
They're both great, I don't want to give this one up. So now I'm going to just add this one too.
Just something to try.
Yep.
We had a question if the solutions we're bringing up would be appropriate for bruising from anemia. Yes, because we're still just treating the why the bruise itself, but you would have to get to the root cause of anemia to help stop the bruising. So this would just treat what's already there, but it wouldn't really prevent the bruise from happening. That's more of a health concern where we're treating the response. Does that help, Janice? That was Janice's question.
But what Bella suggested about the copper tide mist helping to thicken the skin will make the bruising less apparent if you are anemia and have a lot of low, iron. Beef jerky. That's what I snack on some beef jerky. It'll fix that.
Solution to everything. Just eat some beef jerky.
Just that little supplemental.
Yeah. Let's see. After bruising, about minor burns. I'm one of those that if anybody can get hurt on the 4th of July with a firework or a sprinkler or a sparkler or anything, that's me. So that's what we're talking about. Those little quick spark burns from sparklers, those superficial burns that still hurt. So what do we do for that? Or touching the grill or touching the marshmallow while we're doing the s'mores, all those summer instances where we could have a small burn on our fingers. What are we thinking there? How about Dermastart? Dermastart want to go first?
I would definitely lean towards the buff spray. Like Sherry was saying, this is really good, again, for taking out that heat and really helping to calm the skin, helping with that swelling that we see and inflammation. I would also say antimicrobial would definitely be a great option as well. I know my niece, she is 4, so she is getting into all of the things. So like she actually burned herself a few weeks ago by accident, and we used antimicrobial on her, and it really helped to take away that sting and that itchiness that she felt and that swelling. I also really like cooling mask too, for helping with that dryness and that itchiness and helping with that heat too. I think those 3 products really all go like hand in hand, and especially layering them together really accelerates that healing process.
And any product that you can find that has some Centella asiatica with vitamin B5, those are going to be fantastic to work together. That you're limited to what you have on hand. Look for those specific ingredients too.
And just to make a statement, we're talking minor things. We're not saying if it's a big, wound that you need to go to the emergency room. You're not going to use these things right now. That may be down the line that you'll use those, but we're not saying don't go to the emergency room. Something.
How about sandal blisters? This is all those suggestions are great for like blisters from your sandals or what have you. How about that, Pam?
Yeah, these are your minor burns. Minor. Yes. Janice had a quick. Let's see. For a burn. Stem cells, would a stem cell serum go on before or after microbial spray? I would do the spray first because that's going to help disinfect the area before we do anything. First step, disinfect. So I would spray first and then introduce some stem cell serum for healing and regeneration there. Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree. Which one?
Keep flashing it with the antimicrobial spray.
Oh my gosh, the antimicrobial is just so good. It works on so many different things, whether it is those bug bites or like myself, I dermaplaned myself yesterday and I used it afterwards to help sanitize my skin. Microneedling, it would be amazing. You can use it for so many different things. And when in doubt, I use antimicrobial for it. I'm like, if I want to clean my face, disinfect my face, my hands, anything and everything, antimicrobial is my go-to. I literally have I think 5 of them in my purse because I keep them with me everywhere I go.
I'm a big fan.
There, isn't it?
Like I said, mostly Dermastart and Hale Hush products, but again, when it fits, I have to tell you about one. In the burn area, the Radex and the faces and other places that's just a light little cream that has some lidocaine in it. So just enough to kind of take their mind off of it. But just like those getting the pizza out of the oven, those burns, they hurt, but they don't hurt for long, and you just need something to take the edge off. So I really like that 2% lidocaine in that one. That's helpful for those little minor burns where we don't need a lot, just a little something to take the edge off.
Shawna is just waiting, Stephanie. I can see it in her.
Okay, what you got?
Our protocol would be the same as a bug bite. It would be the Relief Bio Powder made into a paste or directly on the skin. Also, if it's in a dirty place, like Sherry said, feet, if it's a blister and sandals, let's put some quiet wash on there and get it all cleaned up before we try to put anything else on there. And then whatever spray you want to use. And then, of course, the Relief Bio Powder will knock out the inflammation easily from a burn. It's immediate. Even if we're talking about blisters more so, even cold sores, I get them all the time. We have talked about this, but even the Relief Bio Powder directly on any sort of blister takes out the itching, burning, and then starts the healing process.
Perfect. Yeah.
Sorry, my answers are the same, but if it's good, it's good.
Hey, they broke, don't fix it. I get it. Well, that's
in both of them. Everybody's
you will. You'll hear a lot of we're mentioning the same things over and over again because they are so multi-purpose and so useful in a million different ways that it's not just part of my morning routine. It's sometimes in my medicine cabinet. Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of uses for a lot of these.
Shawna, take at least 1,000 milligrams of L-lysine prior to you going into the sun to prevent the sun blisters.
I got it. I take that almost every day. It's been there's like baby pictures of me with, it's wild.
You might need to up the milligrams just before you go out in the sun.
It's time for Vegas. It's going to be like pill popper.
The antimicrobial works great on that.
Okay.
Just spray it on.
You're welcome. He's always looking out for me.
Yeah.
As we're going into 107, 109.
109.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm not ready.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding?
So I'm gonna be inside. I'm going outside.
54 degrees here. 54.
I mean, it's 90 here, but
to die. Yeah, pretty much. I think this is the front seat bus of hell or something, right? We made it.
Why do they do this? Why do they have the Vegas show in June?
Like, can we do it in October? I think we petitioned for October.
Yeah, that's got February written all over it. Like, what are we doing?
I think we did.
I think we had it in October one year.
They're just helping us sell all our products. That's what they're doing. Because see all of this stuff coming up next week.
True.
I would say this would be a great thing.
Yes, you need all this stuff. Order now so I can get it to you by next week. Yes, you're all set for Vegas. Let's see. Going after minor burns, what about jellyfish stings? We kind of hinted on it a little. Let's circle back to it. Let's say we are on that magical vacation and here comes this little swarm. Everything from the super duper painful all the way to the little annoying ones. What do we got there? What do you think, Shawna?
Well, when I was in Hawaii, family friends used to live in Hawaii, and we have Portuguese man of war, those kind of jellyfish out there. And yes, people do the horrific things like Cherie tried to avoid saying out loud and trying to urinate on themselves and all this crazy stuff. Sure. But jellyfish stings, remember, stick your foot. Cherie, you should have stuck your foot in the ice chest, right? Take all the drinks out, put your feet in. But for us, it's the magic trifecta. So you want to, when you do get back to somewhere you can utilize things, you got to wash. You got to wash it, wash all of the sand, gunk, debris, and then quiet wash for that. I would wash it up, and then I would use a combination now of the Hush Hydrate Gel and the Relief Bio Powder. And if it does not stop stinging, then more of the powder. I would just keep going on with that. Eventually, you'll want to use Soothe Essence, hydrate that skin back up, or the Remedy Rehab. Definitely, you want to hydrate it because sometimes those are burn-like. Like, I don't know, Cherie, you went through a horrific thing. You got stung by 27, but it does feel burny after the event. So then you want to go into the burn mode and use her spray and use all your Relief Bio Powder. That's what I think. Jellyfish, they're crazy.
Gosh, for us, I mean, it was the same thing. I mean, immediately when it happened, I grabbed some fresh water. I didn't have an ice chest with me. I wanted to quickly get the stinging nettles out. So I used fresh water and I used sand, just because going back from my days of living on the beach, I used to sugar cookie myself all the time. It was my natural way of exfoliating. This is a Southern California thing. That's what we did. And so I was just scrubbing, and it worked up until about, after about 3 hours. Then at that point I had to leave. So thank goodness I did have the antimicrobial spray in my car. It's just it's one of my go-tos. So not enough to soak my foot, but to at least give some little bit of relief. And then my foot was probably swollen for about 3 days after. So I had some redness and I had one particular area. So I just kind of kept my foot in like a little bath. And if I didn't have that opportunity, I took the buff spray and I saturated it. Actually, I poured it in another solo cup and then I saturated it. And then I wrapped this gauze thing around my foot because I noticed I kept waking up in the middle of the night. It was almost like maybe I was so busy throughout the day, I really wasn't noticing as much. But as soon as I would wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, my foot would be on fire and I'd be like, oh my gosh. So it was just one of those things that, you know, I would saturate. Oh, I did a microfiber towel too. So I just saturated that and I wrapped it around my foot, put a sock on, and I went back to bed. But it was an uncomfortable 4 days.
You know what else I think would be really good for jellyfish stings? I think Flare from the Odaceuticals line would be, oh my God, life-changing because it has that dermal sensory correction technology. So it helps with that neurogenic inflammation. So it's going to help to reduce the inflammation that's there. It's going to help with that redness and soothe the skin. And you only need a little bit. You don't need a lot of it. So a little goes a very long way. So like putting the buff spray or antimicrobial and then that on top. And it's hydrating too. So it helps with that hydration that you need to. I think that would be a really good one.
And Bella, my fantastic corporate educator.
Bella, what was the name of the one from Odaceuticals?
It's the Odaceuticals Flare.
Flare?
Yes.
Okay. Because a lot of times, sometimes you talk a little fast and it catch up with you. so I just want
it's a secret of her. It's like her secret weapon, her talking fast. It keeps us all on our toes so we can't daydream.
There you go. Make sure you guys are all paying attention.
What about the dewy glow mask for jellyfish stings? Would that have any effect there too? To use it like a compress?
Yeah, it definitely would. Again, you know, jellyfish, it has that continuous poison, that toxicity that we want to, you know, try to pull out. And the buff spray, just with the witch hazel, it's an antiseptic, and same with the hypochlorous acid. So that's why that would be my go-to. It would definitely help with hydration, and it does give it a cooling sensation. You know, if you can't get to a serum like that, yeah, absolutely.
Cool. All right, next topic is one that was highly anticipated. Everybody wants to hear about boob sweat. I'm
going to let Bella take the floor on that one.
And we need a solution, and luckily we have some. So, Sherry, I'll give you the floor for your fabulous.
I'm going to give it to Bella. This is her area. I actually developed this for another one of our educators because I found out what she was using, and I almost had a
heart attack.
I did. So should I let the secret out what she was using?
She was using Dove deodorant spray under her boobs.
No. Young girls, no.
The answer is no. This is really cool. So this is our treasure chest. So it's designed specifically for boob sweat. So what's really cool about this is that it has that rose quartz in there and that diamond powder. So it helps to absorb that sweat, but it doesn't leave a residue on the skin or on your clothes either. So that's really good because, like, again, we all want to wear our cute clothes, right? But we don't want them to get ruined or have a stain from the product that we're using. So this is really great because it's going to absorb all of that extra sweat, but it's not going to dry your skin out. And fun fact, we do have some people who are super, super oily, and they do use this as a makeup primer too, as well. So multi-purpose, you could say.
It has super sponges in there. That's what I call them. They're little micro sponges that absorb the oil. And not that I want to steal the show floor, but Shawna's going to have a great suggestion, and I think it would be a great pre-treatment to use in tandem with our treasure chest. So.
Yeah, this is a fan favorite. I love this one. Love this one.
And the packaging's really cute too.
Yeah.
Shawna, tell them about the bio powder again.
No. So I'm going to take it a step further. That boob sweat and bum sweat also lead to rashes. I'm taking it back to rashes because, Sherry, you have the market on that product. I'm not touching it. Yes, you could use the powder under there, but a lot of times they'll get pilly. So that's yucky. Like, who wants?
I'm thinking as a pre-treatment in the shower to start the process. So if they use your bio powder almost like as a soap, a little bit of paste, almost like a body mask, just before they finish, they can rinse it up. But, you know, some women, they can kind of lift their breast up just a little bit, use the bio powder, make a paste, tuck
Get up in there.
Yeah, get up in there, leave it there for just a moment, let it, absorb what oils and everything that are there, finish whatever you need to do in the shower, then lift them, rinse them, and then when you get out, make sure your body's completely dry, add the treasure chest. So for those that, are in extreme humid climates, or they sweat more profusely than others or what have you, or if you're going through menopause or whatever it is.
We get a lot of clients that, yes, they don't like their boob sweat, but they complain about the after effects, which are the rashes and back to in between your thighs and in your bum. And so then that's when I would use, obviously, our magic trifecta to help with the rashing. So that's when I would put it at the end. Maybe when things went a little haywire is when I would step in with the Hush Hydrate Gel, the Relief Bio Powder. And if not too oily, then the Remedy Rehab. The Remedy Rehab really does help with the inflammation. I think people kind of second guess that oil sometimes. It doesn't feel oily on the skin. It penetrates quite quickly. So it's not like you're adding oil to any fires or doing anything like that. But it really does help with the inflammation and hydration of the skin. So I would use the magic, what did you call it, Sherry? What is it? The sparkly boob sweat stuff?
Treasure chest.
Treasure chest.
Treasure chest.
I was going to say magical treasure. I think I would use that treasure chest, and if things went haywire after that, then I would step in with Hale and Hush for any rashing, bumps, hives. People get hives during summer too. That's where I would step in with the Hale and Hush. But if you have a treasure chest, let's use it.
And if you're at the beach, and of course, your hands are filled with sand and things like that, then we have our anti-friction powder. One that's going to help keep that dry, but it also removes the sand too. My mom would consistently get frustrated about us bringing sand into the car. So when we would leave the beach, she would douse our bodies. I don't know if you remember back in the day, we used to have those little mittens that were powder. I'm just showing my age here.
I've never heard of that.
It's a little glove mitten, and it had Tinkerbell ones, and it was like Bonnie Bell. Yeah, I'm going way back. But you would put your hand in this little mitt, and my mom would just glide it all over our body of this powder, and it would completely remove, and it was sand be gone, as she referred to it, because she didn't want sand in the car. But we would, be able to at least get the wet, sticky rock type sand, because that's in Southern California, it's a little bit more coarse. Yeah. But here it's sugar, and then in August it's humid, and then your sweat, and then the salt. It's like the only thing that really works. And even if you're trying to put your sandals on, you don't want to get, and it's a little bit rough, you can use our anti-friction powder. So it's part of our waxing collection.
Yeah. And what's actually really great about this too is you can use it as dry shampoo. I've done it as dry shampoo in a pinch when we're out traveling. This is really great at absorbing those excess oils, and it's also good for brunettes. And
that's how it started. That was my original. This was my go-to about almost 20 years ago.
It smells good too.
I developed it for myself because dry shampoo wasn't as luxurious as it is now. And it was very difficult to find a spray shampoo, one that didn't dry out my scalp, but two left me kind of ashy.
Yeah.
So that was how I developed it. But then I started seeing it was a multi-purpose thing.
It's also good for, like you were saying, Shawna, chub rub, helping with your inner thighs rubbing a lot, or even underarms. I know for myself, I get rashes under my underarms so easily, and this is the one product that really helps prevent that.
Yeah, we actually had a couple questions about post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation from the friction of bras. The treasure chest will help with that a little bit. It will provide a little bit of slip, but there's not a whole lot of pigmentation ingredients in there. What would you layer either with Dermastart or with Hale and Hush? What kind of 1-2 punch could we do there to treat the PIH and then top it with the treasure chest?
I would suggest Bikini Bottom. So that's part of our intimate line. So that is a multi-acid solution. So it's great because it's going to act not only as a tyrosinase inhibitor, but it's also going to exfoliate all of that pigment off as well. And it has some hydrating ingredients. So I would put that on first and kind of let that dry for a little bit, and then go in with Treasure Chest right after.
Okay. What about Hale and Hush? What about some Mandelic serum? You could do that.
I would do the Rare Mandelic. I would do it before, after. I would start a regimen now if you know you pigmentate in that areas, because I hate to tell you, but all chubby girls know where they're rubbing and they know where they need the serum. So I would just make it part of your summer routine, morning and night, to add in the rare mandelic for sure.
Yeah. And what about the
Crack
peach
me up.
pits? What about peach pits too, as a mask in the shower? Peach pits
Yeah,
with
that
a
would
little
be really
glycolic
great.
to help bust
You
up
could
that
also do
hyperpigmentation.
the opal cheeks too as well. So if you wanted to, you could do opal cheeks to exfoliate, and then either peach pits or tar pits, depending on your preference. Bikini bottom, and then treasure chest. Yeah. So
What are the difference?
oh, the difference. So peach pits is going to be salicylic base and have clay in it, while tar pits is going to be mandelic and have charcoal in it. So it just kind of depends on preference, but both have that peach glycolic and peach vinegar in it as well.
And I'm
You
glad
can
we're
also
mentioning those. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, you can also use the charcoal clarifying mask in the same way at home treatment with the mandelic and the lactic in it too.
Yep, that's where I was going with it next. These charcoal masks and the scrubs and things like that can also be used in the armpits for discoloration, and you can put treasure chest there as well. In fact, I do basically a W from here out and around up underneath arms too. I get everything with treasure chest. Then I do another pump and I do my lower back because I can't stand that part getting wet. so those are my go-tos there. And it's Florida in June. It's hot and gross. So yeah, I do the W and the L. Yeah, the W, L.
And I know we're doing more for at home, but you can't leave out hyper shadow.
Yeah, for the treatment room, that is a great add-on to do it by either by itself or in combination with the intimate brightening to help with that pigmentation. Really great. I also like the down under booster too, just kind of depending on preference.
We have a new one to go with the machines.
Oh yeah, we do have our new intimate hydro solution. So this is really cool because it has our dermal sensory correction technology in there. It also has those pre and probiotics, and it also has lactic. So really great at breaking up that pigmentation, helping with the texture of the skin and brightening as well.
Yep. Yeah, we were sticking more towards retail products and at-home solutions, but we could certainly spin off into some treatment room things of how to respond to summer skin too. So there's an idea for another collab lab. Let's move on to makeup meltdown. I honestly, this time of year, I don't even bother. I just don't even bother. It's sunscreen for me from now till August. I just don't even bother. So with that in mind, what are your no makeup meltdown solutions? Let's start with Shawna. What you got?
Well, we're already ahead of the game. Like, we know where we're going. We know we're going on vacation. You guys live in Florida. I used to live in California. You know when it's going to be the meltdown of makeup. People usually know. So I would do a precursor. I would use either our Miss Me spritz or the Fresh Breeze and set the makeup with the hydration spray before you go out to melt, right? And then we have little tiny ones that you guys can order, like little small ones that you can keep in your bag and purse. And so you can refresh throughout the day and it won't harm the makeup. So it's more preventative than anything to keep the makeup in place. I think that's where I would start. Or Steph, I'm with you. Like, not doing it either. Not doing it. If you get some eyeshadow, you're lucky. Like, not in the summer. In Vegas, all these places, hope they don't expect me to look that cute, because no, it's a no.
So do you think the technique, you just spritz and kind of re-wet everything and kind of pat it back down? I've used that technique.
You don't even have to pat. You just spritz and go. I mean, that's as easy as it gets, for sure.
Kind of just to rehydrate with the mist. Okay. What about Dermastart? What's Dermastart got in the makeup?
I'm gonna go a little different
category?
Okay. I would say Level Up Primer, just to make sure that we're prepping our skin properly and making sure that the makeup is actually going to stay on our face to help prevent those makeup meltdowns. I would say that. And then also the Reflect BB creams from Prana. Those are really great because they have a little bit of coverage. You're getting that SPF 10 or SPF in there. And then they're also hydrating as well. And then for me, I like to use O-Toner as a makeup refresher throughout the day. So that's kind of like my little trifecta that I would do.
Great suggestions. However, I'm going to go also on another side tip. I truly recommend going to the beach, obviously without makeup. But one thing that I think every girl should wear is mascara. Mascara has deep pigments and it helps with sun reflection. So it's going to keep a lot of that, even with your glasses, your hat, and all of us being covered, it still gives that an additional layer of protection. So think about like the football players that wear the black underneath as a reflector. It's the same kind of concept. So at least go to the beach with your mascara. Keep that sun away from your eyes. Yes.
Can handle that. Can handle that. And a lot of times I really will just wear tinted sunscreens as my makeup. Shirley actually piped up with that kabuki brush. In fact, I'm holding it here because I want to show that I actually use this as a makeup too. I use bio powder as a concealer right in here. And then I just do my tinted moisturizer everywhere else. And for me, it's enough. It's a light enough that I get the highlighting here, but it blends in enough that I can get a no makeup look with just SPF products. So if you haven't done so already, I highly encourage playing around with your tinted sunscreens, with using bio powder as a concealer, as shadow. I've actually used this just on my eyelids too, just to brighten them up. So I've been using quite a bit of tinted moisturizer as foundations, and you play around with the thickness and the application to get sheer coverage, full coverage. So play around a little bit. I also like the powder shield from Dermastart. It's just a tinted SPF powder that you just touch up what you've already done in the morning. So I like carrying one of those around for when I do need a little top off really quickly. Just tap, tap, tap and go.
I also really like the powder shield, the clear one, for my scalp to prevent my scalp from getting burned. That's a really easy way to reapply so your hair doesn't get greasy.
Also the disco balms. I like the disco balms for a little bit of color without it, because a lot of blushes are powder or a thick cream. And I like the disco balms because they're really nice and sheer, but just add a little bit of color on my cheeks. There's some contour colors too, so you can kind of contour in here. But if you haven't heard of the disco balms, they're fun too. They're just no makeup. It's just a kind of a lifestyle. I love them.
Yeah, the disco balms are really great, and they're lightweight, so they're not going to be heavy on your face either. I actually like using them as eyeshadows too, or the highlighting shades. I'm like a big highlighter. Like I want to look like a disco ball at every given moment of the day. So like I really like the highlighting shades personally.
Yeah, me too. And now we'll end it on something funny. Not that I know firsthand or anything. I don't know who did it recently, but like, what if self tanner were to like go wrong or something? I don't know who did that.
I do.
I knew better. I knew better. And you know, I'm glad it happened to me though, because I do know better. And I still did what our clients do. Your clients are going to go get a bottle of self tanner because they're all excited that they want to tan. Are they going to exfoliate first? No. Are they going to moisturize first? No. Are they going to call you that they look like an Oompa Loompa? Yes. So what do we do? What do we tell them? What do we have in our repertoire that they've already made the mistake? We know they're supposed to exfoliate, they're supposed to moisturize. They didn't. Now what? Now what do we tell them?
So I would say lipid balm, that would be a really good one. Even though it is a facial cleanser, you can use it on the body. So that's going to help to kind of even it out a little bit. But I'm also going to say body polish to help kind of scrub off all of those like bits and pieces that aren't looking too hot. And then using the glow drops mixed with your moisturizer so you can kind of even it out. So we have kind of something for every area of what you're looking for. But I definitely think the glow drops are really great because it's going to help not only elongate your tan if you did a really great tan, right? But it also helps with that splotchiness, right? Kind of doing a little bit of a touch up too as well.
Yep. What do you think, Shawna? How do we correct some of that damage?
I think this is the funniest topic, but it comes up so much with clients, I think. So for Hale Hush, I would obviously, usually when it goes bad, they have not exfoliated. Sorry, staff.
Yeah. Oh, I know what I did. I know exactly what I did and didn't do.
Or if you go to the wrong person, I've seen people have spots, like literal spots, because maybe their tools weren't clean, whatever happens. But I would do just like Bella said, yeah, we got some weird stuff up here, ladies. Doesn't always go right. I would definitely do refined polish. Like she said, you've got to exfoliate the skin. You kind of got to let's try to start from scratch. I would use our new Clarify wash, which is our Mandelic cleanser. And Sherry has one too that I like, but I would also just start using that as body wash to try to retexture the skin, get rid of all of that pigmentation from the actual tan solutions. And then you got to hydrate. So I always go to Remedy Rehab because I'm dry and I'd like to stick my whole body in a vat of it, but Chris won't to me that way. But that's what I would do. I would try to remove, exfoliate, and then rehydrate the skin and just maybe like Sherry did in the sand. Just roll yourself around in some sand.
Sugar cookie.
There you
All
go.
else fails, sugar cookie.
And you know what? The funny thing is, Sherry, we used to do that too.
I
Like,
think I
on
did that
purpose.
too growing up.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like
No,
all
it wasn't
institutions did that at
growing
some
up.
point. Like
It's
we've
just
all
like-
got
That was
this,
the original exfoliant.
Yeah, it was. It was.
yeah, we've all got this shared history of our first scrub concocted from the beach. We all pedicures. Were you giving yourself pedicures at the beach? I was.
Yeah, grinding your feet in the
Yes.
sand. Oh, I still do that.
That's like the best
We were
feeling. It's
destined
so
for this
relaxing.
career for a long time.
I just don't suggest doing the scoot to get your bum because
Mhm.
practice you don't need.
The one thing I do want to mention about the self tanner is that is the one time I didn't like the bio powder because orange plus yellow equals more orange. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Do it. No, that's not cute. That's not cute.
So know your color theory when you're also when you're dealing with, that's another thing when you're dealing with self tanners, just know your color theory. That some things make things more orange.
And always as a remedy, you could always check, Stephanie. They have self tanners that have green and a green base to it, or
A violet.
yeah, a violet one. Yeah, I
Mhm.
remember we gave that
Yep.
to Haley.
And yeah, violet red.
Yeah, it was like a violet red to help with that. So
like
great.
self tanning is a whole different
I know.
dimension.
It
really
is.
is.
I think
That-
so.
That's
Yeah,
the glow drops
stepped
is
up
Yeah,
I
that's
cut it
taking
off.
that.
Yeah, I just cut it off after the glow drops.
Well, maybe you should tell them what the glow drops is. They might not know.
Oh, go ahead.
So the glow drops are a self-tanning drop. So you can add it to your moisturizer or serum. Make sure you mix it with something. Do not put it straight on your face.
I put it straight on my face.
But for easiest use, I always recommend using it with a moisturizer. So like I know Haley, she'll use them. She's one of the girls that works here. She'll put it on with her moisturizer and mix them together. And it just helps to even out your tan. You can use it on your whole entire body or just on your face too.
Mhm.
It's like a buildable.
Yeah.
It starts off very gradual.
Mhm.
But because we use so many, acids and exfoliation on our face, you kind of, it's something that you can
Yeah.
use,
Helps to
daily.
even it out.
Yeah, it does. I know. It's
Well, does that work on farmer tans?
it could.
It'll even it out.
Oh, I
That's
bet you
also
could.
big
Actually,
issue.
yeah, if you had like strap lines, if you
Yeah,
had
if
a
you just did like
bride.
a brush with it.
Yeah,
It'd
if you
probably
had a
be
bride
easiest.
coming up that had tan lines, but she had a strapless dress, you could kabuki in just the
Mhm.
straps and try to match her in a little better.
Mhm.
Or
Yeah, that would be a good
after
idea.
a sunburn.
I could recommend something else, but I would totally be giving this girl a plug, but she's well worth it. She's a sweet lady. But they do have like this fantastic body foundation that I played around with all weekend. And even,
Nice.
and I went out to dinner, lots of comments about the difference. It was crazy. It was really easy. I just applied it with like a little kabuki brush and it dried and it's still on. And I
Mhm.
showered like 5 times. So, and I was at the pool
There you go.
yesterday. So.
I think we all
It
agree
worked.
that there's better products than just self tanner from the drugstore, which is what I grabbed, which I should not have.
You
should know
Westmore's Mackenzie Westmore's, her body foundation is fantastic if you apply it the right way. It is really, I used golden and it was,
Makes you look like sun-kissed.
oh my gosh, like it
Mhm.
was fantastic.
Like
So,
you went in the sun and didn't get a sunburn.
yeah, and that's exactly. It was
Well,
really
there could be
nice.
uses for things like that after sunburns too. If you get if you unfortunately if you get a peeling sunburn and you want to make it kind of blend and match once you get through the healing process. So
Maybe.
there's
It's a little
things
dry.
we can do to change our colors that do not involve orange. Orange.
I love all these creative tips.
We're gonna have to make a book of them all.
Yeah. Esthetician's
Also,
tips of the trade book.
One thing I did to help ease the color was dry brush. I was so simple and easy to do some dry brush, and then you get so many good benefits from that too. So had to mention that too. Before any products, let's just do some dry brush. Just scrub off, see what you can scrub off on its own.
Some sugar scrub too, if you don't have the sand from the beach,
Yeah.
That was all of our topics. I was going to run through the Q&A just to see if we missed anything. Let's see, we answered that one. Spray, the buff spray. Just don't want to miss anybody. We talked about the anemia. Talked about stem cell serums. Talked about that. Fresh breeze. Can we add these add protocols for these suggestions on how to treat the skin? We'll be sending a replay. So if once you get the replay, if you want to buzz through it again at twice as fast, you can listen to it twice as fast. You can always call me with these. I wrote them down too. So if you're like, well, what were we talking about for that one thing? You can call me. We can put together an order on the phone for you. That's another thing. Speaking of ordering, MedSpaDistributors.biz. If you haven't registered already, be sure you do. We do check licenses there, so it is a quick little registration process if you're not already. But all these products will be there. So if you haven't registered, be sure to. If you have already, be sure to pop on and pick up some of these products, that they are going to go fast. These are, and especially if you're going to Vegas, I know some of you are. I know Janice, I know you're going. Shirley, you're probably going. So you guys got only a couple days to get those orders in time for Vegas. Where else is everybody going? Anybody else going anywhere cool? I want to hear in the comments real quick while we're wrapping up. Where's everybody's summer plans going? Pam, did you have any product recommendations that we didn't mention that are your summer must-haves? Did we leave anything out for you?
No, I think that you guys like the antimicrobial, that's a plus always. And then of course the bio relief, that's a plus always. So I'm going to say, if we don't have anything else, we're going to at least have those two. Of course, you know, Stephanie and I have the advantage of everything comes in and we can use lots of different things. But we vary it from time to time. But what we kind of wanted to do was make sure that everybody else knows there's lots of things you can use that you probably already have. So, you know, let's pull those out and think of some other uses, because there's so much. I know, Sherry, you could tell us about a whole plethora of different ones you could use for different things, you know. So it's like she says, and I'm like, yeah, I haven't used that one in a while because I've been using this new one you made. So now see, I want to pull that one back out again because I haven't used it in a while, you know. So and why not combine them together? So I think it's great, and how you can use two different lines and we can put them together and it works beautifully.
Yeah. I have my shopping list ready, Bella.
Good. I'm glad to hear.
Yes, there's a few things I'm missing on this list and I'm not happy about it.
That's my job.
Yep.
Good work. You deserve a raise today, Bella.
Shirley had another good one too. Using the Brilliant Eye and Lip from Hale Hush as a lip and highlighter serum too. I know Shirley does this, and I actually got the tip from her. If you put it here, but don't rub it all the way in, you can get like a little highlight effect too. So just a little dab here, a little on the nose, little on the Cupid's bow, little bit goes a long, long way with Brilliant Eye and Lip. So forgot about that one. Thank you, Shirley. That is a good one too.
Here's the thing, Shirley does it that way, but Shawna never does. So I'm glad she's here to back me up because I
do it that way. I do that. I do just a little smear right here, right above my disco. Put my disco balm right here, then my Brilliant right here, and right here, and out the door I go. Yeah. Beach makeup.
My team's got my back. They know my weaknesses.
Let's see. Could we share any ideas for skincare pros on how they market themselves as the expert for when summer goes wrong? Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that. A lot of what we're talking about today does relate to retail products and things that you would need to retail to them. So I challenge you to take some of the information that you learned here today and make some social media content with it. Be like, I want to see, tag us in it because I want to see it. I want to see, did summer go wrong? Do you have a sunburn? Funnel this information out. That's how you help your clients. Not only you'll get the information to them on how to fix their summer woes, but then you become where they buy that product versus Walmart or Target. They start to trust you more and more for their skincare. It just becomes this big, beautiful relationship. So I challenge you to make some content, and I want to see it. Tag me in it.
Yeah, like the your top 10 products for summer. And please, I know today we didn't talk about it, but make sure you include sunscreen.
Well, yes, we have so many sunscreens that could be an hour talk on its own, and maybe it will. Maybe we will come back in here and talk just sunscreen, but yes, of course, sunscreen, and then some more, and then some more.
The two sunscreens I have in my bathroom are ours, and Dermastart. So I'm just saying, like, you can, she's talking about marketing and marketing to clients. Like, your first thing is, well, let's prepare, right? And then if it goes bad, let's take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I also think that too is being real with your clients and admitting that these things happen to you too. That was one of the reasons I wanted to do this webinar, is I suffer from all of these and I know better. And so let's pass that information on to our clients who don't. Yep.
Or
Is there
those
any
of us
other
who have to be reminded, Stephanie. We just have to be reminded.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, that concludes our hour. We actually ran a little bit over, but we always do. But just to recap everything that's mentioned here is on MedSpaDistributors.biz. You can pop on there and order. You can call me, you can DM, but we are here waiting for you to solve all these summer problems and more. So thank you guys for joining us. I love these collab labs. Be looking for some more. In fact, before I let you go, we do have one more collab lab coming up on Wednesday called the MedSpa Mashup, and that's where Pam will be doing the ultimate treatment using everything we have, the best of the best of the best, equipment, products, everything top of the line. So you don't want to miss that. We've also coming up on July the 9th, we have some paid education with Susan Wade on the gut connection, of how gut connects to the skin and how some of those health concerns are manifesting on the skin, and how we can work within scope of practice to incorporate that into our protocols. So that's what's coming up on the horizon. Don't have a date yet, but keep your calendar open for when I do, for a retailing webinar. We're going to be joined by Chris from Hale Hush and Tala from Zax to talk about product and devices that retail great in that space. So lots coming up from us. Be sure to check our website and be on our newsletter and join us next time. So thank you guys. Appreciate you guys joining me, and thank you for all this wonderful information, and can't wait to see you in the collab lab again.
Bye.
Everybody,
Bye guys.